Hey, what is up guys? It's ElasticSpyder here, and today I've got a video on the Tier 10 Russian destroyer, the Khabarovsk, or Khaba for short. So, this ship is certainly one of my favorite T10s. It can do just about anything it wants except for do destroyer-like things, so contesting caps is a good example of this. And spotting other destroyers is also another good example. So this ship obviously is not a very good destroyer, so I prefer to call it maybe more of a light cruiser, for example. It does a lot more things like a light cruiser. It supports the enemy teams or the your allied team's advance and constantly pelts the enemy team with shells. So why did I just mention that? Well, you can see here I'm going right towards B, and the reason for this was I was distracted. I was on my phone. So yeah. So don't be a distracted captain. Don't be a noob, and contest caps in this ship because that's just not what this ship does well. As you can see, I get spotted here by a destroyer, and I don't know what's detecting me. Not a single clue. Then I realize that, oh, okay, it's the gearing. I can deal with this. I'll just run away from him. As you can see, I came out of that turn at around 38 knots. 38 knots. When you're maneuvering, like I'm doing here, you do around 40. So this ship certainly does not lack speed. In fact, it's one of its strongest suits. So I am running the speed flag as well as the two fire flags that give you a slight buff to your fire chance. So that is certainly nice. I tend to run that on these ships just for, or I tend to run these flags on this ship because it has such a amazing rate of fire and it's got a very good fire chance. I believe it's around 10%, maybe 11 if you have demo expert. Regardless, either way, it's still a strong ship, but I need to retreat. I need some more support. I cannot take on the entire enemy, or at least half the enemy fleet. Maybe that's a new word, fleet. Then half the enemy fleet by myself. So I'm gonna regroup with my guys at A, and I'm gonna kind of support them. But unfortunately, here my speed is just so good that I actually outrun this Ekizuki, or maybe he's just clueless, but I'm going to have to start pushing into B, unfortunately, because if I can't do it, then no one else will. That's just the fact of the matter here. Not going to shoot. I'm going to hold my fire. I do want to get around this island, get more in open waters. This is kind of where the ship strives. It can shoot over mountains like most typical destroyers can. But you really want to play the ship in more open waters. You can maneuver a lot more, and you can do all those sorts of things, so you don't get hit. Because weather, it does have a rather poopy maneuverability rating. It has a pretty long rudder shift, but its speed is so good that it's so hard to hit even at 10 kilometers. If you're kiting away, it is still a challenge, especially for the likes of lower caliber guns and U.S. in general. U.S. ships in general have a hard time hitting this ship. So I see a smoke cloud. The gearing smoke cloud dissipated, so I know there's a British cruiser in here. So what am I going to do? I'm going to torpedo the smoke. I did see a battleship that was spotted on my minimap, who is not spotted anymore, and he is in that smoke, as well as a Kurfürst. He is running into that smoke as well, trying to take some cover from our team's fire. I get spotted by that Neptune, oddly enough, which is a bit comical. But I pop my smoke. Do not want to be fighting him on a straight engagement. As you can see, he did about 2,600 damage to me on his first salvo. I repair my engine and pop my speed boost just to get kind of not get hit by any of those shells. I don't want to be suffering through another fire. This Kurfürst looks like he's going to eat one, maybe two torpedoes. So we'll just have to wait and see. Is it two? It is two. So I got two torpedoes, two flooding. This is good because I know his damage control is out, and I'm going to start pelting him with HE to try and set some fires. So, just waiting here. Ideally, in this situation, if you've already got fires on this guy, you would definitely want to be using AP, but since I know that this guy has popped his damage control, I definitely want to be using HE. But otherwise, I'd be using AP. He's giving nice juicy broadside, which means nice juicy German superstructure, which, as I'm sure many of you know, Germans take a lot of damage from their superstructure because it is so big. That's what she said, right? I get 2 fires on him, so he's going to be burning for a while. Most of our team's focusing him, so I'm going to switch to the Tirpitz. Even though, for whatever reason, the selector thing still said that I was shooting the curve first, but whatever. I switched to the Tirpitz now. My smoke's going to be running out rather soon here. I do manage to get 1 fire on the Tirpitz, but I need to move on. I'm starting to get to the point where I can't shoot over this island, where a lot of my shells are actually hitting the island. So I'm going to push into B. Ask my team to focus this guy down, because he could be a big problem for me. There's nothing wrong with that, even if my team doesn't do anything about him. Just knowing that I've at least told my team to fire at this guy at least gives me some sort of I guess satisfaction, knowing that I'm trying to help my team and that sort of thing. Regardless, I'm not spotted, so I'm going to be pushing on to B, using this island as cover and kind of protection, I guess, as well from some of the shells. Thankfully, it's not a Bismarck, that Tirpitz. If it was a Bismarck, then secondaries would be flying over the island, and I would be in some trouble. Neptune gets spotted. I'm going to slow down, try not to get spotted, and I'm going to dump some torpedoes. Torpedoes on this ship are completely secondary. They do not, by any means, they do not by any means represent your main battery or your main primary source of damage. It is really these guns. I pop my smoke, and what do I get? A nice detonation and a devastating strike on that gearing. I think I would have won that engagement even if I didn't get that detonation. He was in a lot of trouble. I had my smoke up. I was also landing a lot more shells. You could see there I was doing 3K for the first salvo and then around 2.5K for the second. And he didn't even hit a single shell on me. So I would have won that engagement regardless if I gotten that detonation or not. Managed to get 1 flooding on presumably the Neptune. That's where he was last spotted. And then maybe I can get 1 on the Tirpitz. Managed to get a fire on the Ibuki that it looks like he put out. So I'm just waiting for another torpedo hit, and right there, just before they end, I get 1 on the Tirpitz. So I'm gonna randomly shoot in smoke. Every other target's out of my range. At this point, you could argue I should be moving out of my smoke to try and spot some other ships, but I just decide maybe I can get some cheap damage by shooting into the smoke. It's not like my rate of fire is 30 seconds, where it's pretty shitty if I randomly shoot in the smoke and I have to wait that long to have my guns reload. This 3.5 second reload is certainly amazing. I do run the 3.5 for the 3 million upgrade. I do run the reload module for your guns because that is really your main source of income and damage. So, and then of course I run accuracy, and then pretty other standard. I do run concealment module, and then what's the other one? Propulsion. Yeah, I run propulsion. Fletcher gets spotted. I'm going to keep shooting him. You can see doing some solid damage. 2,000 for the last level, about 700 for this one. I managed to get 3 fires on him, and that's 2 of those were from the Tirpitz. But he probably repaired right there, and I get 1 last fire. Shooting into the smoke because I could still hit him. You can see there I just got 1 hit, and I do actually kill him with my fires, so that's good. I got him out of the way. The last destroyer rather that is alive is the Z-46, and you can see right there that I'm getting Hydra spotted. He was last spotted on the other side of this island, so I know it's him. There's no other radar cruisers in the game, so I know that it is definitely him. He popped his smoke, so I have to be a bit careful here. I'm afraid that he's right there, which he is, so I'm going to turn away. There's no point in me sitting in his hydro and just getting spotted all day long and him having free shots on me. Even though he was using AP, and I probably could have angled against that, but again, it was just unnecessary damage. So even though the ship a few patches ago did get a very solid nerf to it, it nerfed its range, it also nerfed its reload. It's still is a strong ship, as you can see here. Already at 150,000 damage. I say already, but it's been 12 minutes. But it's been a good display on how to play the Khaba, staying somewhat outside of caps, using islands to your advantage as cover, and using your torpedoes just to shoot into smoke whenever they're up and ready. They're a lot of the times they're either used for pushing away people or just trying to get some cheap damage, blow some damage controls. Ran into my Neptune buddy there, but it was okay because he actually helped me go forward faster. Start shooting at the Sabuki to try and save my Fletcher buddy, but he does not need my help. He says, "Screw you, Spider. I'm just going to use my torpedoes." Z46 gets spotted, and I'm just going to start pelting him. Don't know what those torpedoes were aimed at. I presume the Neptune? I'm not sure. I hope I don't run into any of them. That'd be quite embarrassing. Trying to get all my guns to bear. He's using AP. He's trying to hit my frontal plate right under my two guns and underneath my smokestack. There's a 50mm plate on either side of the Khaba. So it actually does bounce, or it does non-penetrate HE shells a lot of the time. So he was trying to hit those, but at that point it's too close of a range. You want to break the modules, you want to break my guns, so you go for the HE. So that was his mistake there. If I was sitting broadside, then I would definitely be in trouble, because those would have been straight penetrations. And again, his other mistake there was he was going straight at me with a slower reload on his guns, so that's never a good idea. That Turpitz popped his damage control, so I'm going to start pelting him yet again with more fires. And I managed to get Confederate there, a nice little addition to the achievements that I got for this match. Really, all the achievements are just flags at this point. Managed to get high caliber as well, shortly after the Confederate. Going to try and set more fires on this guy, trying to burn him down. I'm surprised I haven't gotten Witherer yet, with the amount of damage. Typically, in this ship, you do get Witherer most of the time. If you do over 150,000 damage, you're almost guaranteed a Witherer. So I'm a bit surprised that I haven't gotten that yet. Got another fire. He's got two fires burning on him. However, the first one does burn out. I switched to AP here, seeing that most of my team's shooting at him. He's the last guy alive, and he's presenting a significant amount of broadside. As you can see here by the angle meter, he's at around 70 degrees, and I'm still getting very consistent AP damage. But he's about to be dead. There he goes. And then moving on to the screenshots, we see that we've got a nice 538,000 credits, 306 shell hits, 4 ships killed, 1 assisted base capture, and 4 torpedo hits, which is very nice. Again, a very nice way to, to get to showcase those torpedoes. 2,925 base XP, 4 kills, topped my team. 1,000 XP difference between the second person on my team. You can see the detailed report. 90,000 damage from my main battery, 45,000 from my torpedoes, and it's so close to that Witherer, less than 2,000 damage away. Certainly very, very close. Wish I would have gotten that. but that's okay because the credits will be amazing. 337,000 credits earned. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please like and subscribe, and consider leaving a comment down in the description. Tell me how you like the ship or what you don't like about the ship. But I will hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you all next time.